Heyo, welcome in to CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in to Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. You're wearing the Ready to Be Heard Again shirt. You guys just made some news. I mean, isn't this a happy day for Cubs fans?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You're really not excited about the two signings?
Well, I am excited about those, yes, but I'm considering where the rumor mill is right now. I'm not feeling great.
Where's the rumor mill at?
Are
the Cubs not getting both?
Judges off the board, which means that the Giants and other teams are going to probably go in on Correa, Bogarts, or Swanson now. Bogarts is talking. Looks like the Red Sox are making a big push for Bogarts right now.
To be fair, though, the Red Sox have said that they've tried for every single free agent.
They have, yeah.
And
I'm going through the emotional roller coaster, Sean. We're doing the show at the wrong time.
Oh boy! All right, well, good to hear. So hopefully Cody isn't going to bring in some negative energy to his bets. He's got his $10 to $1,000 challenge that he's trying. We'll update you on what he did last night. We also got some bets for Thursday Night Football coming up. I got a $10 free bet on the NBA that I got to find out what I'm betting on, and a little bit more college hoops talks. We talked a little bit about yesterday the Indiana game tonight. Excited about this one. Nebraska Cornhuskers versus Indiana Hoosiers. But wait, before we get into that, how are you not in a good mood? Because the Illini won.
You're right.
The Illini won. The Cubs signed two different players. What's going on here?
I was. You should have seen me last night after, around 11 p.m. I was at the top of the world, Sean. I was probably the happiest I had been as a sports fan in a while. And then I woke up and learned that Judge signed, and then, all the scaries came back. So I'm going through the emotions, like I said. And it doesn't help that Contreras went to the Cardinals either.
That's fair. I do have to be respectful in your mourning period there, as your number one enemy, Yadier Molina, is now replaced by.
I mean, at least the Cardinals finally got a good catcher after 2 long decades of having a bad one.
But what are you going to do when the Cardinals come to town now? You can't berate them about their catcher. Is it now Adam Wainwright in your sights?
No, I guess in a way I'm kind of sad that Yadi's retiring because now I don't have that. But, I mean, it's not going to be hard for me to hate them.
Mm-hmm. And you're still blocked by Yadier Molina on Instagram.
Yeah.
So,
I still got that. Yeah.
There's still that.
Still got that.
Let's jump into the $10 to $1,000 challenge. You had a bet last night. How'd it go? You took Duke, right?
I took the over in Iowa and Duke, and it came about like 10 points short because Iowa couldn't make any shots in the second half. I wish I had just taken Duke -3 because it was never a doubt. I watched the game. I had in my teaser Duke +1, and the only thing that didn't hit my teaser was the over, which was teased down to 143.5. So I think it ended up being like 135 or 136, something like that. So it was about almost 10 points short. And Duke put up like 70-some points, and with the way that Iowa plays, I just assumed that they're going to put up some points too, and they just could not hit a shot in the second half. Unrelated to my bet, that was kind of an eye-opening loss for me related to Iowa because they've kind of impressed early on, and Duke has been up and down, but they have the best recruiting class in the country. You figure they would get better eventually, but yeah, Duke got pounded by Purdue a couple weeks ago, right? Braggs was super happy about it. And now Duke has not lost since. But that was a big win for them, beating Iowa after losing to Purdue. And the 2 wins that they had after the Purdue loss, one was against Boston College, so it's not really saying much. So they really got a signature win in their non-conference schedule last night against Iowa and the Jimmy V Classic. So, yeah, I mean, it's as far as Iowa, I don't know. I'm not saying if I was an Iowa fan I'd be worried. I'm just more of – I guess I was a little shocked with the way they played. So – and Duke is a more defensive-oriented team, so if Iowa has to go up against these defensive-minded teams, then I think they could be in trouble against other teams in the country.
I think what we might start doing here is I might just ride a college basketball team until I think they're going to lose. Next game that I think Duke will lose, February 4th. when they play North Carolina. They go up against just like the bad ACC teams. Like I don't see any of these teams being able to upset Duke here. So I could see them having a pretty clean December, and I could see them having a pretty clean January here. So maybe that would be fun to just ride a team for a couple
I will say
weeks.
that Duke has, despite some of Duke's bad losses, I will say they have looked more impressive than North Carolina, and I think that they would fare well against North Carolina at this very moment. I don't know how we'll feel in February, but like there's just like no depth on that North Carolina team right now. So I if they went up against each other right now, I would definitely lean Duke more so than North Carolina. And I'm someone who, coming into the year, I thought North Carolina would win the ACC. So
yeah, it's
interesting. But yeah, no, sucks about my bet. But it was a good game. The Illinois-Texas game was great. I wish I could have bet it.
Iowa, though, I mean, you said it was an eye-opening loss, too. I mean, Chris Murray and the games that he's gone up against, like, power schools, Clemson, TCU, and Duke, just awful games. 3-9 against Duke, 4-14 against TCU, and then 4-17 against Clemson. That's the big thing about Iowa. Now with Keegan Murray gone, Chris has to step up, and if he's not able to do that job, especially against some of these tougher opponents, they're going to get eaten alive in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I do think they're still kind of a dark horse. They could be a team that could go into any Big Ten arena on the road and steal a victory, no doubt. Just as much as I hate McCaffrey, he is a great coach. But I definitely couldn't put him in the top 5 of the Big Ten right now. Right now, my ranking for the top 5 of the Big Ten, my bias says Illinois after beating Texas, but I think Indiana's right there neck and neck, even though they lost to Rutgers. It's tough to win at Rutgers. I would then say Purdue right there. So that's your top 3. Those are my top 3. And then I'd probably put Michigan at 5, and then after that, in between there, it's a lot of questions. Like I don't know about Michigan State. Like they were in that game against Kentucky and they beat Gonzaga, but then they lost to Northwestern, which is something that they always do every year. I feel like they got a big game tonight. I don't know. Like I guess Michigan would be more of like a 4 than a 5, but like I want to say that one of these other teams are better than Michigan just based off what I've seen from Michigan. But Michigan's also battle tested. They played some good teams, and they just haven't won them. Like they lost to Virginia, a game that they honestly led most of it, should have won. And then on Sunday, I think that they lost to, I can't remember who they lost to on Sunday, but they lost that against a big Power 5 school too. So yeah, I just think, I will say this, I think the Big Ten so far has been more competitive in the non-conference than I expected, because coming in the year, everyone thought Big Ten was going to be down, and now they've played well enough in the non-conference to where I think they perhaps could get 7, 8, 9 teams in that NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I mean that's the crazy thing though about college basketball is you can feel good about a conference, and we've seen this year in, year out. Mm-hmm. Feel great about a conference, they can get 13 teams in, and then 7 of them could be out after the round of 64. Right now, the conference winner,
Wisconsin's probably number 4.
You think? All right, so
yeah, now that I think about it,
right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, the best sportsbook out there, download the app today and use code CHGO when you sign up. They have the Big Ten regular season conference winner as follows: Purdue at plus 250, Indiana at plus 300, Iowa at plus 500, Maryland at plus 800, Ohio State at 12-1, Michigan at 12-1, Michigan State 15-1, Wisconsin 25-1, Rutgers, Penn State both at 40-1, Nebraska at 100-1, and Minnesota at 500-1. I would say that Indiana, I think, is still probably the top team in the Big Ten. I would put Illinois 2. I'd put Purdue 3. I'm not really sold on Iowa. Yeah. I think I'd probably put Michigan or Ohio State 4. Because I think 5 is clearly, I think 5 weirdly enough is Michigan State, but I don't know who 4 is, and it's either Ohio State or Michigan. I'll take Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah says Michigan behind the camera.
Michigan's played some really good teams. They just haven't beat them. Mm-hmm. So I do think that they'll play better in conference this year than they did last year. So yeah, no, I think I've seen people on social media call it a wasteland. Like it's just everyone's gonna beat up on each other in conference play, and that's why to me, like Illinois beating Texas last night is huge for their tournament resume. Like, yeah, they're gonna make the tournament, but like seeding matters, man. Like it in a way, it really does matter.
Right. Well, I mean, imagine if like Texas and Illinois are 4 and 5. That could be the decider of who gets a 1 seed. So that's a huge win for the Illini last night. And if you were looking to bet on the Illini, obviously you can't bet on Illinois teams, college teams in Illinois. It's not DraftKings Sportsbook's fault, but you can bet on the Bulls who played tonight. They're taking on. I wanted to say the Kings, but they're not taking on the Kings. Who are they taking?
They played the Kings the other night.
They played the Kings.
They were taking on the Wizards.
The Wizards. Kind of the East Coast Kings. But if you want to bet
out Bradley Beal too.
Yeah. Bulls at like minus 190 to win this game. This time of year, everyone's excited about the gifts, the holiday spirit, but what about the basketball? When I throw down on NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if you do. So with the Wizards, without Bradley Beal, might be a nice time for new customers to put some money down on the Bulls money line. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same game parlays. Maryland. Chicago sports fans, listen up. Maryland sports fans, listen up. DraftKings is now live in your state. Why is it Maryland?
Because they just brought sports betting to Maryland.
Well, we got a lot of Maryland listeners.
I said this on the Cubs show the other day. I was like, if you're a Maryland Cubs fan, this is for you right now. So if you're any Maryland bettors that it just happen to like Chicago sports listening right now, listen to Sean.
If you love Maryland so much, you can place a Maryland future to them to win the Big Ten Conference at plus 800. But download the app now to get in the holiday hoops action. Sign up with code CHGO. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Speaking of DraftKings Sportsbook in the NBA, they do have a promo for today, and they've run this about once a week. Free bet, NBA free bet. So you get a $10 NBA free bet, and I have no idea what to put it on. My thought immediately went to the Bulls. They're at minus 195, but that's no fun to just bet $10 on because,
you won't even really get any money back from it.
It's
put $10.
It's a $15 payout. So do you go with them to win by minus 5?
No.
It's only minus 110. Like, I think if it's a free bet, you got to go probably plus 300 somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? I'm so down on the Bulls right now that just like placing the bet on Wizards plus 165 is fine because, I mean, the Bulls have lost like 3 or 4 in a row. And now that, I know they're coming home and I know Bradley Beal's not playing, but man, have you watched any of these games lately? Like, it's been a disaster. Like I'm starting to feel bad for our Bulls guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be the one team in the city that doesn't give us freaking heartburn. And they're giving me plenty of heartburn right now. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe the Hornets plus 390 against the Nets.
But I don't know about. I mean, the Nets have KD. That's a tough one right there. I don't know though with the Bulls. With the Bulls though, I mean, they just got off a 6-game road streak or road trip. 2-4 on that road trip, but it started off with a win against the Bucks, then like a 6-point loss against the Thunder, and then a win against the Jazz, and then they got smoked by the Suns and Warriors. It was a tight game against the Kings. Like, I don't know, it could have been worse. I think especially coming back home, that's going to be huge for the Bulls. And if the Wizards are without Bradley Beal, I mean, this should be
they should win, right?
A cakewalk.
They should.
Yeah, he's out.
The thing is like they haven't played. Well
so is Devon Dotson too. Bulls legend.
Yeah, he's out for the Wizards, right? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Is Caruso playing? Caruso plays. I think I got a bet.
I would say if we're gonna bet on the Bulls game, with this $10 free bet, definitely got to do like a same game parlay or something like that.
I think so too. I probably take because when you just hit the same game parlay,
anything with Kyle Kuzma in it, I feel like you got to do. He always plays well against the Bulls.
Kuz over 23.5 is at minus 110, and then do they have steal props for Caruso? Because if they do, I gotta parlay. Oh no, they don't have him posted because he's day to day. Damn it! All right. Anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Or Daniel Gafford rebounds or Daniel Gafford points because it's a revenge game.
That's true. But now that I've got Kuzma over 23.5, I really feel like, and if I take Gafford, I really feel like I can't take the Bulls spread.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They got to score some points.
Someone's got to score some points, and I do like the Kuzma just because, like we've said, no Beal tonight. Maybe Kristaps Porzingis. He had a great game against the Bulls the first time they played. Mm-hmm. The Bulls are bad at guarding these big men who can shoot, which ironically is like every NBA team. But yeah, maybe just a parlay of Kuzma points and Kristaps points. I don't know. Like, I ain't putting any money on the Bulls tonight.
All right, you're kind of talking me out of it. I might just take something else into tonight's NBA. Porzingis career.
I'm sorry to be so pessimistic about the Bulls. If anyone knows me, I'm not really a pessimistic guy, but they're just not playing well right now, man. Like, I can't trust them. I keep talking to the Bulls guys about what should I be betting for them, and they're like, don't touch them. Don't do anything with them.
Well, I'm going to listen to Big Dave and Matt there because they watch more than I do. Anyways, let's get into your $10 to $1,000 challenge. You said you lost last night. We got Michigan State plus 4.5. Like you said, coming off a loss against Northwestern. Why not do the NBA free bet here? Because you get the $10 back.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if there was any strategy.
I didn't have any strategy. I didn't have any strategy. I if anyone knows me, I just like betting on college hoops more than the NBA. But yeah, like I said earlier, Michigan State coming off the loss to Northwestern, they've lost 2 in a row. And they're going up against a Penn State team that they haven't played since November 29th, so they've had a little bit of rest. They're at home. They went to overtime against Clemson last week, so they haven't played since that game. They lost that game. Penn State's, like, surprisingly, maybe not necessarily surprisingly, but they've been a scrappy, like, decent team. And, like, they're not, obviously their basketball program isn't very, like, big, but they have been and they've been in a lot of games. But they're 4.5-point favorites at home. And so you're giving me Tom Izzo as an underdog, 2 straight losses. I mean, we just talked about them beating some of the big teams in the Power 5. Like, I think this is a big bounce-back opportunity for Michigan State to get past like this struggling that they've been doing right now. I don't think everything's right there right now because they got some injuries, but I think it's a good opportunity for them to get their first win in conference against a very solid Penn State team. So I'm going to take the 4.5 with Michigan State against Penn State. So
the only worry I would have is just that those guards might go off for Penn State. But 4.5, I mean, that's like
a lot of points, I feel like.
I feel like it is too. So I don't disagree with you. I mean, KenPom right now has Penn State listed as a 36 team in the nation, Michigan State at 45. But Michigan State, I mean, you look at their schedule compared to Penn State, I mean, it's apples to oranges. I mean, just the fact that Michigan State has had so many big non-conference games already. It's exactly what Izzo does each and every single year is try to prep these guys from day one for the tournament. And, facing Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga's kind of fallen off here, they only lost by 1. They faced Kentucky and beat Kentucky. They faced Villanova and beat Villanova. They lost a somewhat close one to Alabama. Oregon's always been a good program. Notre Dame is in there as well. And then you get to the tough, Big Ten, and, they slip a little bit against Northwestern, but I don't know. I don't see them doing that again.
Yeah, no, I just think the spot is better for Michigan State here. And when I say spot, it's just like it's all about like how many days off have they had, and like who did they lose to last, and like coaching is such a big thing in college basketball too. Like I like to fade Michigan State against certain teams, but I'm not going to fade Michigan State against a Penn State team that really hasn't really proved a lot yet. They played up with Clemson, no doubt, and Clemson's a decent like ACC program, but like I don't know, like they haven't showed me that they can be anything I should be afraid of in the Big Ten, and Michigan State should be at least a top 6 team in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on to the NFL. We talked about this with Lawrence yesterday as the news broke that Baker Mayfield was picked up by the Rams on Thursday night at 7:15. You got the Raiders at the Rams. Raiders are 6-point favorites. Total is at 45.5. Money line, if you are feeling very, very brave and taking the Rams, who might be led by John Wolford or Baker Mayfield, who is starting and learning a playbook on 48-hour notice, you can get them to win at plus 205. Cody, what do you like in this game?
Nothing. Like, this game sucks, Sean. Like, if I'm doing anything in this game, I'm taking the under, just because I don't know if the Rams would be able to put up any points. But What scares me, though, is like the Raiders defense. Yeah, they have a good pass rush, but they've also shown that they'll give up points. And the Rams just put up 23 against whoever they played on Sunday. And I know that doesn't say much, but
Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks. Okay. And they're a decent team, right? So, like, Cam Akers had like 2 touchdowns in that game. Like, fine, like my fantasy team is so pissed off at him. Like, I had him in like multiple leagues, and he freaking sucked. And he finally shows up when he's on the waiver wire, of course. Yeah, as far as the spread, I ain't touching it, man. I can't do it. Maybe if it moves to 7, just because like I could see the Rams defense keeping them in it. But yeah, I don't know, and I don't even think John Wolford is awful. Like he won some games last year for them when the games mattered. But yeah, I'm here on primetime Thursday Night Football. The season's pretty much over for the Rams. Like I don't even know how much they care. Like, I don't know. How do you feel?
Well, I honestly think that it's a huge game for the Raiders just because they have momentum somewhat building. I didn't think this team was as bad as they were. I guess I also didn't think the Rams would be as bad as they were. But,
no one thought the Rams would be this bad.
Right. And now, especially with Kupp out, they really have no answer at running back. They have no answer at quarterback with Matt Stafford's back broken. Yeah. And you look at this Raiders team that they have playmakers on offense. Devontae Adams has been lighting it up over the past couple of weeks, thanks to my fantasy team. Shout out. Josh Jacobs has been the number 1 fantasy back in all of the NFL. And then you combine that with over the last 3 weeks, 52% of their sacks have come. They have 21 sacks on the season. They have 11 in the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And going up against a Rams team that just allowed Matt Stafford's back to be broken and has given up the 3rd most sacks in the past in this year. I'll take the Raiders. Give me that 6, and I'm trying to find some sort of team sack prop, and it might be posted tomorrow. Right now, they only have Leonard Floyd over, three quarters of a sack?
3/4 of a sack.
Yeah, plus 100, but I'm all over the Raiders sacking the hell out of either Baker Mayfield or John Wolford. So I'm taking Raiders minus 6. Since it is Thursday night, I will also take it the under of 44.5. I'd probably take that under 42.5 just because, those are the touchdown numbers. But I'd probably say the 3 best bets are Raiders team sack total over, Raiders minus 6, under 42.5. But right now it's at 44.5, so you could take that.
I'm looking at the passing props, and the only thing they have up is Derek Carr. Like, if they put Walford I really doubt Baker Mayfield is actually going to play in this game since he was just claimed and he's learning this playbook. So, like, if he does actually play, like, take the under on every Baker Mayfield or John Wolford, like passing prop that you can get, man. Like that.
Take Baker to throw a pick.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I don't know. Like, this game sucks so much. So, yeah, I would say that the under on the game and under on if they put up passing props for the quarterback. Now, as far as the Rams are going to get some yards. It's not like the Raiders offense is the best in the league. Like I said earlier, Cam Akers coming off his best game of the year. He got 17 carries, so he's going to get the carries, right? This over under for rushing is 45.5. Like, I don't mind that. Like, that's I would play that. I think that's a fine play. Josh Jacobs is at 88.5. It's a high total, but like you said, he's been one of the best backs in the league as far as fantasy numbers go. So maybe the touchdowns or maybe you parlay that with the touchdown or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, no, this Rams defense is I don't know. Like it can be very good. It's shown to be very sus this year. So I think that, the Raiders, this is what's their record?
I think they just won 3 of their last 3 games. So fuck.
They beat the Seahawks and then
5-7.
5-7.
5-7. They had wins against the Broncos and Texans earlier on, and then they have 3 straight against the Chargers, Seahawks, and Broncos.
So they're trying to sneak in this playoff race. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's I guess for them this is obviously it's a must-win game. So.
Mm-hmm. And Brandon in the chat saying that it's going to be a huge game for Jacobs, and that's probably why for him to score a touchdown on Thursday, it's at minus 175. But to bet Josh Jacobs prop bet over, the side is a coin flip. Raiders should lead most of the game, and Jacobs is in a contract year, and the Rams have had issues against runs. Also saying that Aaron Donald's been garbage against the run, so I really do feel like this is an easy Raiders win, especially just with so many questions at the quarterback alone. I mean, just that gives me enough confidence to bet on the Raiders, and the fact that they have those two skill positions or those two skill players in Adams and Josh Jacobs, along with just what their defense has been able to do over the past 3 weeks. I think it is replicable.
If you're as high on the Raiders like you are in this game, like I would definitely place the bet now before it gets to 7. I wouldn't touch the spread if it got to a touchdown. That's just me.
I probably wouldn't either, but 6 is enough for me. I honestly think they could be a blowout. I mean, I could see it being like 31-10 or like 24-3. Like, I don't see it being.
These primetime games tend to be close, though. But I will say it's not a divisional game, so, like, you know how I am with divisional underdogs, and this one isn't. So, like, that aspect is taken away from me. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm just taking the under. This game sucks.
Just end Cody's misery. Already end the game. He doesn't want to watch it, and it's still like more than 24 hours away.
There have been we have sat here, Sean, and talked about, is this the worst game on primetime this year? Like multiple times, and like I think this one takes the cake. Like this has to be the worst primetime game of the year.
I think planning doesn't help. Like, I think they didn't plan this. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't think that Matt Stafford would be out and the Raiders would be 5-7.
I know that they didn't do this on purpose. It's just
how
it's worked out to be.
I don't know. Eagles. I wasn't excited for Eagles Texans.
Yeah,
and that was a 11-1
Bears
team versus
Commanders back like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that game was just completely ugly.
Yeah, the game before that didn't have any touchdowns.
The Colts Broncos. Yeah, that went to overtime. Yeah, that one was pretty garbage. I would say just I don't care that the Rams and Raiders are playing each other. Mm-hmm. So I would say that this is probably the worst matchup. Following up, you got 49ers, Seahawks, Jags, Jets, Cowboys, Titans. So everything besides Cowboys, Titans is a divisional. No, well, I guess AFC South, not AFC East. So yeah, I mean, they kind of get weird with the two non-divisional games at the end of the year, but it's probably the worst one.
Yeah,
I'm not watching this game.
Yeah, I just place the bet and watch something else.
I'm box score watching.
I know we were going to do regular NFL on Friday, but is there a line that you're looking ahead that you kind of like?
It seems like you like one.
Well, I'm looking at Vikings and Lions, and the Vikings are 2.5-point underdogs in Detroit. And
that's odd.
I'm afraid to do it because I've been fading them all year, and I keep losing. But now I want to take them, and I feel like this is a trap.
I don't know. I mean, 75% of the money on the money line is on the Vikings. 70% of the money on the spread is on the Vikings. I would take the Vikings. I wouldn't overthink this. I've bet on the Lions many times before, and usually, especially early on in the season, not so much this year, but they've had troubles closing out games. And especially with Justin Jefferson, the explosiveness of Dalvin Cook, I don't think they can get enough pressure on Kirk Cousins to make a true difference. And it's an afternoon game, so I'll take Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, especially it's in a dome. I mean, it's not like it's going to be crazy weather or anything that's going to like kind of even the playing odds for the Lions. I mean, they're saying that they're a little less than a home field favorite, the Lions, because usually that line's 3, but it's close.
No, I'm probably going to ride the Vikings too. I just wanted to get your take because I saw it and I'm like, this can't be right. Mm-hmm. It was so alarming that I really thought it was a trap.
Brandon says too. I mean, the Vikings can clinch the division with a win.
Okay, so they have a lot to play for here.
That's huge.
All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna do more NFL on Friday, but
take the Vikings now.
Take the Vikings now before like it turns into a pick'em. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I mean, do you take the money line at plus 115, or do you just take the 2.5?
I would take the money line because what's the point with the 2.5? You know what I mean? Like if it moved to 3, then I would be like, okay, I'll take the plus 3. But
I guess just the money.
Maybe just buy up to the 3, but then you're gonna get it at like minus 120 or minus 135.
Yes, spread's minus 110. Just to take them to win is at plus 115. So if you bet 10 on the spread, that's a $19 payout. If you bet 10 on the money line, that's a $21 payout. So does that $2 matter a ton to you? I don't know. The cushion might be favorable. But anyways, that's going to do it for CHGO Bets Daily. Thank you to Brandon for joining in and being talkative in the chat. That's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Sarah for producing the show. And we will be back with you on Friday for more preview of the NFL betting slate. We're actually on Thursday. We are tomorrow. We are on Thursday
tomorrow
at 3:30.
Okay.
So we'll talk to you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow then. I thought it was Friday. My bad.
20-minute show, apparently. All right. We'll see you then. Peace.